Hello. I've been gone for a long time, and that's because I had to have surgery, and I thought I would be recovered by now. That was sort of the plan, get it over with in January, recover through February, and be ready to jump into my garden in March. But that's not how it went. So I'm still recovering. I'm getting stronger. I haven't started my seeds yet, which is frustrating, but I direct sow a lot of things, and I'll have a garden this year. It might look different than other gardens, but we'll just, we'll see how it goes. I really miss my garden. I miss being outside. I miss doing that work. This time of year is the time of year I look forward to all winter. And so I thought, well, until I can get out there, I need some help. My greenhouse is full of things that shouldn't be in there, and I need my boys to get those things out of there. I'm not able to do it right now. And then I'll start some seeds, and probably in some different ways than I have before. And I will probably be starting fewer seeds than I normally do, but there's still time. I think I can get it in this week. Here's hoping. Anyway, to sort of tide me over, I decided that I could grow some microgreens, which I normally would have done in January and February anyway. But I'm gonna grow them in my house, which I don't normally do. I normally grow them in my greenhouse, and I normally grow them in the long trays. But because I'm going to grow them in my house in a windowsill, I've just kept some of these mushroom containers, and that's what I'm gonna grow them in. So I have two types of seeds for microgreens. Actually, I have three types, but I'm going to only do two right now. I've got peas and clover. So the first thing that you do when you're growing microgreens is that you need to soak your seeds for 6 to 8 hours or overnight. And I typically have a ratio. I do it in a mason jar, and I have a ratio of seeds for the growing trays, but I don't know exactly what this is going to be. So what I'm going to do, because I've never grown in something this small before. So what I'm gonna do is, I was guessing it was about 2 tablespoons just based on the surface area of this. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 tablespoons in and see what it looks like. Oh, that looks like it's gonna be just perfect. So 2 tablespoons, and let's see. It just covers the bottom without them being layered up, and that's what I want. I want them just like that. So let's see if for the clover, that was the peas, let's see if for the clover 2 tablespoons works. It might be a little too much for the clover. Oh yeah, it'd be too much. So we're gonna do like 1.5 tablespoons. Oh yeah. And covering the bottom without, that might even be a tiny bit thick. I'm gonna see if I can spread them out a little bit better. When they're wet, they'll be better. Okay, so the next step is that I need to soak the seeds. And so I've added the seeds. By the way, I wouldn't normally add them to the thing that I'm growing them in. I just wanted to know about how many I needed. So, and actually my container wasn't totally dry, and I have seeds stuck in there. So chopstick, one of my favorite cooking tools, gardening tools. I use chopsticks all the time for things other than eating with. Okay, and then I'm gonna add the peas. And oh, dropped a few, that's okay. These are a little easier to manage. There go my dogs to investigate what I just dropped. They don't need to be stirred, they're not tiny. The little floating pieces are broken seeds, and you can just pull those out. And these need to soak for 6 to 8 hours or overnight. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And they can just sit out on your counter. They don't need to be in light or darkness. Both those things are important. And I'll talk about that when I come back. But I'll see you tomorrow for step 2. All right, it's the next morning and I have my soaked seeds, and you can see they've significantly increased in volume. So I may actually get more of these than I intended, which is fine. Our family loves to eat sprouts in salads, on sandwiches, and wraps, and even the not the clover sprouts so much, but the bigger sprouts like sunflower sprouts. And the pea sprouts are good that way too, or bean sprouts are really good in soups, like pho. So I'm gonna go ahead and drain these and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have drained those, and then I've wet a paper towel and put it in the bottom of my containers, and then spread a layer of the wet seeds. Oh, hi Ike. Oh, Ike wants to help. Did you miss being in videos, huh? Good boy. Oh, and here comes River. You don't want to miss out? Okay, get out of here, buddy. Come here, River. And here's River. Oh, here's both of them. They're so excited to be in a video again. Okay, done. That was a nice distraction. Okay, so I've wetted a paper towel, and I've folded it so that it'll fit in the bottom of my container. And then I've spread the seeds out in a layer, in a thin layer, so that you try, with the little tiny ones, you're just trying to get a thin layer. You want as close to a single layer of seeds as possible. There will be some overlap. That's unavoidable with these teeny tiny seeds, but just a thin layer, but covered, right? You want like it well covered. And then the peas, I don't want to tip them as much because they move, but similar thing. And I did have, with using 2 tablespoons, so I'll write this down. I have enough to do 2 more containers. And so I'm gonna go get 2 more containers out of my greenhouse and do 2 more. The next step is going to be, I need to cover them so that they're in darkness for 24 to 48 hours so that they'll germinate in a warm space. They don't need light to germinate. It actually is better for them to be in dark when they germinate, but they do need to be in a warm space. So I'm going to put them in a windowsill, but covered. And then in a few days, I'll check on them tomorrow, and I'll check on them the next day. And I will come back when they're germinated and show you what that looks like. And here's where they are. There's 4 little trays under there. I've covered them with a doubled up towel so that that's dark. And we'll check back in a couple days. I did want to show you what else is growing. Those are sweet potato slips getting ready to go in the ground. So that's another project that my windowsill has been working on over the winter. All right, well, I'll check back with you in a couple of days. So here it is 24 hours later. You can see that the alfalfa definitely has some germination going on. And so do the peas. They're just starting to break through. So we're gonna leave them covered up for another 24 hours. And don't forget, if you're doing this, to give them some water. I just run it down the edges and let the paper towel catch it so you don't disturb the seeds. Okay, and here is day 2. And we have pretty good germination on these. And so I'm going to go ahead and leave their top off of them and let them get some sunshine. And in a few days, we will have sprouts to eat. Okay, so it's been a couple of weeks now since I shot those first videos, and now I'm back to show you what I grew. So here are the alfalfa sprouts, and I'm gonna let them go a couple more days. You can see that there are some on the top that are a little bit longer, and that, like the longer ones, are they're a good size. Oh, they're so good. I love alfalfa sprouts. So I just want, like, I'm snacking on these a little bit, but I would like them to get a little bit taller, and I have 2 of those. This one is, oh, it's dry. It just needs a little bit of water. Like, it's not looking as good, but it just needs a little bit of water. It'll perk up. Okay, the pea sprouts, I have never grown in a paper towel. I have done alfalfa sprouts in a paper towel before, but I've never done pea shoots. I've always done them in soil. So this is what they look like. And I want to show you the inside because I have 2 of them. This is the more impressive one. This one is a little bit slower. So I wanted to tell you what happened. I live in it was built in 1909, so like 112-year-old house, and it's kind of chilly and it's a little bit drafty. I put it in a window and it was cold during that time, and it just was too cold. So they germinated, but then they just sort of sat there. And so I moved them to a different place where they were near a heater, and they started growing. So I had a little bit of a delay, like a couple of days. I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on? And then I realized, I think, because I was worried, I was like, they're getting plenty of light, but it was just too cold. So I moved them over near a heater. The pea sprouts are growing at a variable rate. So there's, I don't know, about 10 that are up high. And these are edible pea shoots, like the leaves, the shoots, everything, they all taste like peas. So I can pop a top off of one of these, and are delicious. They taste like peas, and they're really good. I don't, the last couple of years I haven't gotten a lot of peas in my garden because my dog also loves peas, and as soon as she figures out that there's pea plants, she eats the whole plant. So this was also like, can I get at least pea shoots in microgreens? So I'm gonna have to read to see if this is just how they grow. I was a little bit worried that I didn't have them dense enough, but they've sort of filled in the bottom with their roots and such. So maybe I just need to read a little bit more about if there's a better type of substrate, this one, or whether they just need more time. I don't know. Regardless, they're growing. The alfalfa sprouts did great, and we're happy to have them. I'm gonna soak some more seeds so that I can start another round, and then as we eat these, then there will be more growing. Microgreens, if you want, you can soak and grow a new set every week, and then every couple of weeks you'll harvest them if I recall right, normally I'm harvesting in my greenhouse about every 12 to 14 days, depending on the plant. So this has been longer than that. And I do think it was because it was too cold in my window. So, but yeah, so you can have fresh shoots all the time. I've been able to start seeds in my greenhouse now since I started these. So I think I will take the next ones out into the nice warm greenhouse and probably start them in soil, which is what I normally do, just a thin layer of potting soil in a tray. All right, I hope that was interesting, useful. If you don't have a garden or a greenhouse, if you have a warm, sunny window, I just needed a warmer window, you can still grow vegetables at home. So there you go. There's just a little bit of information on microgreens. I have learned a lot about microgreens on YouTube, and I will link some of the channels that I like below. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Bye.